Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we'll be exploring the connection between type 2 diabetes and processed meat and refined carbs. Recent studies have established a correlation between the growing prevalence of type 2 diabetes worldwide and the consumption of excessive amounts of processed meats and refined carbohydrates. The findings emphasize the impact of an unhealthy diet on the rising rates of this chronic condition. The research indicates that 3 dietary factors contribute significantly to the risk of developing type 2 diabetes: overconsumption of processed meat and refined carbs, along with inadequate intake of whole grains. Health experts recommend making dietary changes such as replacing processed meats with lean protein and substituting refined grains with whole grains to mitigate this risk. A recent study published in the journal Nature Medicine reveals a potential association between the global increase in type 2 diabetes cases and the excessive consumption of processed meats, refined rice, and wheat. Furthermore, insufficient consumption of whole grains was also found to contribute to the rise in diabetes cases. This conclusion was drawn from a comprehensive analysis of dietary patterns across 184 countries, using data collected between 1990 and 2018. Why do these 3 dietary factors increase the risk of type 2 diabetes? Whole grains, rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, help regulate blood sugar levels. In contrast, refined rice and wheat, commonly found in processed foods, have a high glycemic index that leads to elevated blood sugar levels. Overconsumption of these refined grains can result in insulin resistance. Aubrey Read, MS, RDN, LDN, a nutrition expert not involved in the research, explains that refined carbs like white rice are rapidly digested, causing significant spikes in blood sugar. These spikes can impact the overall average blood sugar levels measured by HbA1c, which reflects the average over the past 3 months. Processed meat, known for its additives and sodium content, has been linked to poor metabolic health due to its potential to induce inflammation, according to trusted sources. The mounting evidence connecting an unhealthy diet to the risk of developing type 2 diabetes further underscores the importance of making mindful dietary choices. Andrew Odegaard, an associate professor at the University of California, Irvine, Program in Public Health, explains that this recent study adds to a growing body of evidence demonstrating the acute impact of a high intake of refined grain foods on physiological and metabolic parameters, leading to an elevated risk of type 2 diabetes. He emphasizes the beneficial effects of whole grains compared to refined grains and mentions that while there is circumstantial evidence linking habitual processed meat consumption to type 2 diabetes, further research is needed. Odegaard suggests that, to mitigate the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, it is advisable to exercise caution and limit frequent consumption of processed meats. To reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes, experts recommend adopting healthier food alternatives. Andrew Odegaard suggests increasing the consumption of fruits, vegetables, and legumes instead of refined grains. He states that there is evidence supporting a lower risk of type 2 diabetes when intact whole grains are consumed in place of refined grains. Aubrey Read also advises replacing refined grains with whole grains, as it provides added fiber and helps prevent blood sugar spikes. The slower digestion of fiber leads to a gradual release of sugar into the bloodstream, unlike refined grains. Additionally, Odegaard highlights the importance of incorporating lean sources of protein, such as fish, cheese, tofu, eggs, and beans, into the diet to make a significant difference in reducing the risk of type 2 diabetes. In conclusion, a research model based on data from 1990 to 2018 indicates that poor dietary choices are associated with over 14.1 million cases of type 2 diabetes in 2018 alone. The study identifies 3 primary dietary factors that contribute to the risk of developing type 2 diabetes: insufficient consumption of whole grains, excessive intake of refined rice and wheat, and the consumption of processed meats. To mitigate this risk, experts recommend opting for lean sources of protein, excluding red meat, and substituting refined grains with whole grains.